Hey guys, finally back from my appointment. It took forever to get the cab home, so I apologize for that. Um, let's see. It's Monday the 30th, 4:16 p.m. I have nearly 6,000 steps in already today. 5,843 apparently. Pretty nice. So, okay, before I get into what happened at my appointment, I want to take a moment to talk about the cab driver I had today. Both ways. There was a time when I could identify that people were Republican and it wasn't a strong knee-jerk reaction like it is anymore. We'd have a difference of opinion on a few things, but sometimes, we could at least see eye to eye on some things. But especially in conversing with this cab driver both ways, I've realized that the modern day Republicans, both, sitting as politicians and those who listen to those politicians, they don't realize the hypocrisy they spew. And how they seem to like to blame Biden for things that were Trump's fault, but when he actually would admit that things were done during Trump's watch, apparently he was clueless when it was going on. And I'm noticing there's a glare in my glasses. I apologize. So yeah, it's a weird thing. He seemed to really want to go on about vaccines today. Which for me is actually in my wheelhouse. He started the conversation. A lot of the time, I'll just listen to whatever they have on the radio. Though the dude before him, so that, at my first meeting with Matthew, he had Tucker Carlson on audio, I guess. I don't know if he does podcasts, but I heard his name mentioned, so I was kind of tuning out the rest. So, yeah, I kind of, didn't bother the guy. Didn't say anything really except, thanks for picking me up. Have a great day. I keep it nice and civil. Because unless you're going to say things that are really derogatory, I'm not going to be an asshole. But this guy started going on about Fauci, and apparently there's something going around out there that he mutilated dogs by slitting their throat and sticking their heads outside of these modified kennels, but pouring some sort of insects in with the rest of the body as they're living, but they wanted to see what these insects, the effects they would have biting the bodies of these dogs, but they didn't want to hear them whine. What? What? I have personally not seen this, so I did not comment on this. But of course, he encouraged me to look it up. So I intend to. And if I see something like Breitbart being a source or the New York Post being a source. Yes, hi Rumble. I just know that it's bullshit. Um, and he was blaming Fauci for essentially helping cause COVID, like manufacturing COVID with the study. A study, I heard them trying to make that claim once before with something that he was trying to do, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. See, the one thing I did agree on is that, yeah, China might have been making a biological weapon. And yeah, it probably got out when they didn't mean it to. And this is now why the world has COVID. It's not a conspiracy if it's true. And with the history of biological weapons being what they are, and the state of the country, the state of the politics in that country, I mean, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. And we're never going to get, I want to say concrete evidence otherwise, but I should say concrete evidence that someone can say absolutely without a doubt it was undoctored. So I don't know what to think, but that's where my mind is on that whole thing. But no, I don't think Fauci helped the Chinese make COVID. The new thing I heard was apparently France helped build the lab in Wuhan, and before it was fully completed, China then booted them. Has anyone else heard this? Is it an actual thing? Or is it just, again, more Q stuff? Let me know, because what the fuck? Let's see. So yeah, but I had to stop him at one point because I was like, look, I did my own research on the COVID vaccines. Because he tried to say stuff like, kids are dying from it, and he was saying stuff about it being like sports players and stuff like that. I was like, there are other reasons why those sports players, kids, are dying. And it's sometimes the parents' fault why there aren't autopsies telling us the exact cause of death. It's up to the parents to decide whether or not they're even going to have them done. One of my exes, he passed away in his sleep, and his parents decided, and he was 25, but they decided they weren't going to do an autopsy, so they didn't. So they don't know what caused him to pass away in his sleep. He was 25. I would have fucking wanted to know, but whatever. So yeah, if players get hit in their chest at the wrong time when their heart's beating, they can drop dead. If they have repeated head injuries, if they have one head injury done the right way, they can just die. I mean, this is why there's been the discussion about whether or not high school people should be even playing these sports. There should be a discussion whether or not adults should be playing these sports. But that's my opinion. But especially when it's not killing them, but it's making them do things like being very violent and harming other people, I think the fact that they're making ticking time bombs is a problem. And it shouldn't be happening. So yeah, I had to look. I was like, especially when my doctor was telling me, because I had to explain my condition with the CIDP and what it is, and the fact that because I have what I have, I've been told that I'm not supposed to get vaccines. I wasn't told that whether or not it had mRNA or whether or not they were living vaccines. I was just told I shouldn't get vaccines. And I think that's because it's just the vaccines are going to engage my immune system, which runs the risk that I'm going to wind up in the hospital. That's anything that's engaging my immune system runs the risk of me winding up in the hospital. But my doctor, Dr. Martin, he told me that, the Pfizer one, there had been at least some testing already being done on patients with Guillain-Barré, the less chronic form of what I have. And that they didn't have any adverse reaction. And so I went on the internet and I also tried to look to make sure that I could, at least see articles that he was seeing. I wasn't seeing anything contradictory, and no, what I found was backing what he said. And so, that's why I started getting the COVID shot and then the boosters. Because, I mean, with the rate people have been dying from this, even now, people are still dying from COVID. And this guy was also trying to bitch about the fact that they were trying to make the vaccines mandatory. And it's, because herd immunity for herd immunity to work, the majority of the people have to have the vaccine. That's how it works. And even then, it's not a guarantee. So really, the ounce of prevention, and this it's what, milliliters? Not even an ounce. So stop being a fucking baby and get the fucking shot. Every time I have to get the shot, I get migraines. I feel like shit for at least 24 hours following. I still fucking do it. Because, A, I don't want to die. I don't want to somehow catch it and then make fucking Tom sick and possibly die. I don't want to infect anyone else possibly and have them die. Like, I'm fucking doing it, and there's risks for me. And if I'm fucking doing it, be a fucking grown up and fucking... I'm sorry, I'm raising my voice and I'm cussing more. I'm sorry. But it is so important that people... we have responsibilities regardless of what country we live in, what family we have. There's social responsibilities, there's personal responsibilities, there's familial responsibilities. We have responsibilities that we have to meet to just be decent people. And one of those responsibilities means getting the occasional jab in the arm. That's what it means. We had to do it when we were going to school. But that's why people really get mumps or, the MMR are for rubella. Who's heard of anyone getting rubella anymore? And that's probably because of the fucking vaccine. People started getting measles, but that's because people stopped vaccinating and it made a comeback. So that's even more proof that vaccines work. I didn't get flu shots in the past because my body's always been, they never liked getting the flu shots. I would get very sick after them. Like, I would get the flu. It didn't matter whether or not they were live vaccines. Before the CIDP, I'd get sick, and I'd get sick for like 2 days, including recovery, because my body would just be so fucking wrecked after I'd be done with it that I'd need time to recover. I'm still waiting to get my most recent COVID booster, but I have stuff hanging out for that. I have soup, I have crackers, I have ginger ale and cranberry juice. Like, I'm ready to take care of myself after I get the next shot. Because I know what to expect. And I just do it. Voting. Voting is another responsibility, people, as a side tangent. Especially being Americans. It's a privilege, but it's also our responsibility. If you don't like the way things are, you have to vote. Have to. If you're not an American and you don't like the way things are going on in your country, vote. That's the only way things are going to change. And get others to vote too. It's just what we got to do. I'm sorry that I went on for nearly 20 minutes about this. I meant to just mostly joke about the guy and be funny about it, but I guess it triggered me more than I realized. But what do people call it anymore? Masking. I'm very good at it. For my customer service days, I know how to not say too much. I mean, I did have to speak up and correct him about the vaccines when I believed that I knew for a fact he was wrong. Because I don't think people do that enough, and I know it can be scary, but like, if I see racism, I can't let it go. If I see someone being mistreated because they're different, I can't let that go. And I don't think anyone should. I don't think it should happen at all to begin with, but if it is, and especially because you're seeing it, you shouldn't just walk away from it. You shouldn't just stand there and watch. You should say something, do something. Because What if that person winds up dead? You know? Um, Especially with some of the hate crimes that are going on these days. And I don't like using that word, the H word, but I mean, that's what they call it. They call them hate crimes. So, but it fits the definition, therefore, it is the correct word to use. I just don't like using it personally because I reserve that word for when it's accurate. And there's not much that I hate. Unfortunately, it boils down to specific individuals. Not even people really in my personal life, but people that are kind of fucking up the world. So anyway, I went to see the health coach today. I did not see him this past Friday, but the Friday before. So that Friday, I was 336.6. Today, I was 335.1. So close to a pound and a half lost. Hi, Rumble. Let's not show people your butthole today, okay? If you haven't watched the last video yet, unfortunately, there is a tiny flash of beehole. Not mine, his. And I apologize for that. Just as I apologized then. But, yeah, sorry. So, yeah. Down about a pound and a half. I wish it was more, but, you know, even Matthew was like making sure that I understood it was actually more than a pound. I kept saying a pound. He was correcting me. So that was nice of him. So, but you know, it is in the right direction, and that is the most important thing. And then we talked more about, well, first of all, body chemistry and how foods play a part in it. So, apparently there are 2 hormones that we produce that are basically on and off switches for our hunger. There's ghrelin, which is apparently the on switch for your hunger. And then leptin, which is the off switch for your hunger. When I kept hearing him say ghrelin, I kept thinking of growling, which, you know, like your tummy does. So that's what made me keep remembering it. But I mean, it's also written on this page here. But I haven't thought of a mnemonic, I think that's the word, to remember leptin better. So I'm going to have to work on that. But basically, ghrelin happens when your blood sugar isn't as stable. So if you're keeping your blood sugar stable, you won't get those serious, the growling. So, and apparently, leptin is looking for complete protein, essentially. I forgot what the EAA stands for, but apparently it breaks down into 14 EAAs and then 3 omega-3s. The fatty acids. So 3, 6, 9s, I think those are the 3. Sorry, he wrote these notes very basically. So I'm trying to remember what was said while the notes are being read. And for the most part, I know I'm remembering most of it. But then there's the ADHD in the back of my head. And are you sure you're remembering it all? So, So I think maybe because of the fact that I have been taking my multivitamins and stuff, maybe that has been helping keeping my blood sugar more stable. I'm not 100% yet. Um, but I am changing at least some of my vitamins coming up, including my omega 3s. The fish oil is actually no longer going to be a gummy. It's going to be a supplement. So I'm going to run the risk of fish burps. Yay! But I guess I'll just keep more Trident on hand, like the whitening one or whatever, and hopefully that'll help. Oh, excuse me. I maybe got 4 hours of sleep this morning, so um so the things I'm supposed to be looking at getting is primarily protein and fiber. Um, some carbs is all right, and they're better if you match them with the protein and the fiber. So, like he was saying, like I asked him about 12-grain bread, and he said that's a really good as far as carb goes. Because grains is one of those things: beans, vegetables, fruit, even rice and potatoes, when paired with things like vegetables, beans, and meat, it helps it be a more balanced meal. Therefore, it's going to affect your blood sugar in the beneficial ways where it's going to help your weight loss, not hinder it. So, it, he was basically suggesting that I be mindful of what it is I'm eating and how much, and see if there are ways that I can tweak things to work better for me. And since I only really had to break down and have one snack last week, I mean, I think that's pretty good. But apparently applesauce, though it's okay-ish, most of the fiber of the apples apparently in the skin. I would not have thought that. I thought the fiber was like in the flesh, but apparently not. He said it's the skin. So I'm just gonna have to see if there's ambrosia apples at Walmart when I order groceries next, because I love those. And I told him about he didn't even know about ambrosia apples. And the way I described it to him and the way I'll describe it to you guys is it's like if pears and apples had a baby. They're mildly sweet. They have that firmer mouthfeel, and they're juicy. They're so damn good. Like ambrosia might be a really fitting name for these apples. They're seasonal though, so I don't know whether or not they'll actually be around. But if you can find them, I highly suggest trying them. Because they're delicious. And I mean, I could just eat them by themselves, but I usually like having them with like a little bit of peanut butter, just to add, a little bit more protein. But I'm supposed to look out for that because that's actually considered something in the fat section that we went over. See, because like we broke down, kind of talked about this a little bit, but so like we talked about where some of the better proteins are: meat, eggs, and fish. He said that red meat is getting a bad rap because when they've done the studies about people eating red meat, that they're going to like fast food places or other places where they're eating other things with it that might not be good for them, like fried foods. That steak might be chicken fried, you know. The red meat might be in a burger form, which comes with fries. Um, you know, it's not the meat itself that's the problem. It's potentially everything else going on around it that is the issue. But apparently, people that consume a lot of red meat apparently also engage in other behaviors, such as apparently lots of alcohol consumption, cigarette smoking, just things that aren't necessarily good for you. So, yeah, he actually thinks red meat is a good idea. Chicken, turkey, pork, beef, that's what he wrote down. Eggs, he's a big fan of eggs. I need to do that more for my breakfasts. I have this omelet maker thing that I actually enjoy doing. I essentially make my own version of egg foo young sometimes. Like sometimes I'll do it for breakfast. So like I'll get some eggs, I'll crack them, I'll mix some stuff into it like ham, veggies, whatever. Put them in the wells, close the thing up. 10 minutes later, you got two like omelet thingies. But instead of like having cheese with it and like ketchup or whatever, I'll just finish it off with some soy sauce. Which, I mean, I don't have an issue with sodium, as I've discussed in the past. So, you know, doing a couple, I mean, it adds flavor without adding a lot of fat. And when I prep it's essentially like a waffle iron, but you know, for eggs. So when I'm preparing that, I do the flavored spray, the butter flavored spray, and you know, I'll do just you know, light sprays, and that doesn't have any calories. So you know, I'm steering myself to pick better choices when it comes to reducing my fat. You know, I told him how I switched to light mayo because the Great Value light mayo doesn't taste any different than the regular mayo. You know, cheese is apparently just more of a fat than it being a protein source. Nuts, he said, is actually not a great source for protein. And that includes peanut butter. So, as much as I might like it on occasion, that's going to have to be regulated to only snacks if I decide to have a snack. Cream, sour cream, things like that, those are apparently also considered fats. Processed meats, so bacon, salami, hot dogs, you know, anything that's been processed is considered a processed meat. So these things, yeah, bacon's just not gonna be reduced in my diet. I'll try, but and maybe instead of doing sliced deli meat ham for my omelet things, I don't know, maybe I'll take the time to actually like do like a ham steak or something, cut it, dice it, you know, real small or something. Apparently another one that's considered just more of a fat, though it does have nutritional benefit, but in the ways of diet it's not effective, is avocado. But I don't like avocado, so I'm good there. So yeah, these things are things you should be avoiding. Oil slash butter, of course. Spreads, mayo, dressing. He thought it was good that I basically switched at least somewhat to some, sometimes having like light Italian or something like that. Because, it's not as bad as like having ranch, which is, well, fats and then carbs. Because, there's sugars and stuff in it. Um, though, speaking of carbs, um, we talked about the glycemic index. And apparently, the higher something is on the glycemic index, it more or less basically means the higher sugar content it has as opposed to its fiber content, which means it's going to spike your blood sugar more, which means it's not so good for you. So, things higher on the index, sugars, processed wheat breads like bagels, English muffins, white bread, and pasta. These are the things that I should definitely be cutting down on my eating of where I can. So that's not too hard, except when I do my English muffins for my tuna melts. But I don't know, maybe someone out there does a 12 grain English muffin. That would be awesome, actually. I wish someone would. So carbs that are kind of in the middle that he likes when paired with higher fiber carbs are things like rice and potato. He does not demonize rice. I am so happy about that. And some of the lowest on the glycemic index are apparently grains, beans, vegetables, and fruit. So these are things I should definitely be looking to get more of as opposed to less of. So yeah. And he gave me example of basically how he eats for a day. And for breakfast, he pretty much just mostly does like protein and fat. So he does like fried eggs and some sort of meat. And for lunch, he'll do protein and fiber. So like a meat and a veggie. And dinner, he'll do protein, fiber, and carbs. So like meat, veggie, and a potato, or meat, veggie, rice. So if I were to go to 3 meals a day, like I would be good with that. And he said sometimes he does also do the snack. Not that he needs to lose weight, so he's good. But yeah, it's not really. Sorry, just trying to move on my couch, and it's a deep couch. Like the seats go back a bit, so that's why it was looking like I was slouching. I basically have to sit up, and my back's not touching like the back of the couch. I'll back you up a little bit though. So, I think if I start next month, once I have the money to do my food shopping, doing like my omelet things in the morning. So that'll be like, I usually do like onions and peppers and mushrooms with like some ham and then the eggs. Maybe I'll switch it up with like bits of beef or something, or pork. I mean, ham's pork, but you hear what I'm saying. Like, I'll try to find a better, not so processed meat to go into my breakfast omelet. And I mean, it's still kind of following his example, but I mean, I'm adding veggies, but that's fiber, but um I mean, I'm doing still 2 meals a day, and then it'll be, my later meal where I have like that extra little bit for carbs or something. Um, Probably rice, because I do enjoy my rice so much. I mean, it's certainly doable. I mean, it doesn't feel oppressive. Um, so yeah, I think I'm still definitely moving in the right direction. I think I'm still just a little out of it because of the cab driver. Because, like, he started going into things again on the ride back. And there was someone else in there, too. And she was on his side and even a little racist. Because she was complaining about some other cab driver that she got one time. And she called him a hijabi. Which isn't even right. Because Muslim men don't wear that. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit of a headache right here. Look, there's one thing. Oh, hi, Rambo. You coming to save me? Making me feel better with some serotonin? Thank you. I love you too. Such a good boy. It's actually working. Science is crazy and wonderful, and understanding it and understanding what a simple touch of another creature can do for you and your brain chemistry is just wonderful and nerdy. Okay, I know, but it's kiss. I don't know if you guys saw, but he even went to paw my face to get a kiss. So, yeah, such a good, sweet boy. Yes, you are. I do feel better. But I'm not going to talk too much longer because it's almost been 45 minutes. And my phone was already around 80% by the time I got home. But I'm going to plug it in as soon as I get over to the bed. But yeah, so takeaways, knowledge, down about 1.5 pounds. Gonna log things and walk and keep that up. He said I didn't have to, but honestly, I'm preferring doing it. It's, keeping me honest. I'm sharing it with other people on Facebook. And so, like, some extended family has actually been commenting on it, which has been sweet. I didn't expect it. So it has been nice to get people, like, cheering me on. Hi, buddy. Um, it has. It's been really nice. So I'm definitely motivated to just keep it up. What are you doing? Yeah, I talk to my cats. I'm sorry. I'm that sort of fucking weird. Um, what you doing? You're purring. I can hear that much. Oh, did you see something outside? I forgot where I was. I'm sorry. But I love my boys. I do. Um, Hi. I'm getting kisses. I love you too. What, you want to give me more? I'm so sorry, guys. Hold down. They don't want to see your butthole. Oh, oh. No, butthole down. He's so sweet. Yes. Yes. I hope people see this one so they can see how sweet you are. Especially when I lived in the other apartment before this one. Yeah, and here I said I was gonna leave, right? Okay, this story and then I'm going. So, the apartment we had before this one, he would get upset if I was, like, standing up too long and stuff, because my pain issues were not being managed well at that point. And so within like 5 minutes, I would start to be in pain. And within 10 minutes, it was bad. But, things had to get done. Cooking, cleaning, just, I had to do things. And so at a point, he'd start following me around and he'd nip at the back of my calves. He'd cry right before he started doing it, and then he'd cry with each subsequent bit, a little bite, until I went to lay down, and then he'd get up in the bed with me, and then we were good. So I joke sometimes. I don't know how to say this without being, it's not gross, and I don't mean it in a gross way, but I joke that he's my other boyfriend because he likes to take such good care of me. Because he does. Like, when I'm feeling down, he comes over and he'll, like, lay on me, or he'll insist on being petted or brushed. He'll, like, nuzzle the brush. So, like, I know he wants to be petted, and he understands the brush is there to brush him. And like I said, sometimes he'll bite things, I think, to get attention, not to eat them. And like right now, he's just hanging out on the table on the other side of the couch here. And I'm just petting him, and he's purring, and he's looking out the window. I don't know that he's seeing anything, but he's moving his head, so he must be seeing something. Maybe birds flying by. So this is why I don't think I could ever have an apartment that wouldn't let me have cats. I will always have cats, I think. Because they helped me through some really bad times growing up. And they're here for me now. They're my favorite. So, these things are wrapping up on sentimental crap. So, yeah. I'll try to see if I can do another video tomorrow. But I wanted to do an update on things, especially with the fact that I had that appointment today. I see him next week. I believe the same time. I should definitely double check that because I have to set up my next cab. So I told him it has to be at least a week out so I can schedule the cab. So I'm pretty sure. He said the 6th. So pretty sure that's just a week away. So hopefully we'll be down some more. On the 1st, I might be buying myself some Burger King or Chinese food or something because I'm probably going to be down in the dumps tomorrow with the fact that I can't spend my anniversary with Tom, and I'm not going to have all my money on the 1st, but I'll have some of it, so I'm probably just going to get myself something to boost me. So that'll probably be a diet cheat day. I'll still log it, but I know what I'm going to do ahead of time. It is what it is. But, you know, I'll make sure to definitely get my walks in, especially since my legs are feeling better. And, you know, it'll all even out in the end. Who knows? I'll still end up losing weight for the week. You think so? Yeah. With your pretty green eyes. Such a handsome boy. Alright, folks. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this. Try to unwind some. You guys have a good rest of your day / night. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.